Connor McDavid was held out of Wednesday's game against Vegas with a lower body injury. Anytime there's mention of a possible McDavid injury, it definitely sets Oilers fans on edge, rightfully so. This one seems pretty precautionary though, not a big deal. It feels like the Oilers are just trying to make sure he's as healthy as possible for the playoffs. How did this lineup do without him? They went and smacked the Golden Knights around 5-1. This play pretty much summed up the night for Vegas. Just terrible communication between Charlie Whitecloud and Aiden Hill. Dylan Holloway's able to swoop in and put that one home. Man, that was an ugly one for Vegas. If I'm Bruce Cassidy, I throw that one right in the trash, forget about it, move on. For the Oilers, that's got to feel good for all the people who say that team's just a one-man show. Although, people aren't really saying that much anymore, are they? A few years ago, like the 2017-18 Oilers or the 2018-19 Oilers, the McFlow years, yeah, I can see why that was said about those teams, but this one, with Zach Hyman scoring 50 goals, Draisaitl having another big year, Evan Bouchard's going to get over 80 points, it shouldn't be a huge surprise that they were able to keep this thing afloat for one game without McDavid. This was my favorite goal of the night, though. They're snapping it around like it's a power play, except it's not. McLeod spots Ekholm sneaking in, beautiful cross-seam pass over to him, and an even prettier shot by Ekholm. That's his 11th of the year, which is a new career high for him. He's also tied his career high in points from 2018-19 with 44. He's having a phenomenal season, not to mention he's a plus 43. Usually I don't put too much stock into plus minus, but that's so high. When you're plus 43, like that says something about how effective you are on the ice. And you go back a couple of games, and I know Rantanen was hurt on the play. You're not celebrating that. That sucks. But that was a squeaky clean, hard hit that you love to see from your defenseman. The guy's just great at both ends of the ice, and on a team that has Bouchard, who has almost twice as many points as him, and Nurse, who makes $4 million more per year than him, I still think that Matthias Ekholm is 100% the Oilers' best overall defenseman. And a huge part of his value to the Oilers is that by being paired with Evan Bouchard, he allows him to go be way more offensively free while he's a stabilizing force defensively, and still he's able to put up points himself. That pair reminds me so much of Andrei Markov, PK Subban back in the day. It's not even funny. Coincidentally, Ekholm played the role of Markov, basically, by being paired a lot with Subban in Nashville. And it's kind of nuts, because I remember at the beginning of the season, The Athletic posted a piece where NHL players anonymously reacted to how highly players were thought of around the league, you know, underrated, overrated, that kind of thing. I'll never forget this. It was posted on Reddit, and it was all over Twitter for a bit. Ekholm before Rasmus Anderson? F Ekholm. He's an all-star tier? Oh my god, can I get out of here? He's not good. He's not that good. He shouldn't even be on this list in any tier. He's good defensively, but come on, all-star tier? Somebody really doesn't like number 14 in blue and orange, and it ain't Jordan Eberle. Look, Ken Holland takes a lot of heat for some of the moves he's made as Oilers GM, and rightfully so. He's made some bad ones that have deserved the criticism, but I honestly think the Matthias Ekholm trade is one of the best trade deadline acquisitions of the last 10 to 15 years. It may not be as flashy as Mark Stone to Vegas or Marion Gaborik to LA, but it's exactly what this team needed. Could you imagine if this decor
Tyson Berry team
didn't have Ekholm on it? Tyson Berry's not a bad player. He quarterbacked the Edmonton power play.
How come I was never told about this? I thought it was still on the Oilers.
For a couple of years there, but especially now that Bouchard has proven to be even better than Barry at doing that, you put Barry in this lineup instead of Ekholm, or even a lot of other guys, period, instead of Ekholm, and it would be looking bleak. And by no means am I saying Nashville lost that trade. They got a lot of good assets for the future there. I think it's a win-win, but man, Ekholm has been such a perfect fit in Edmonton, exactly what the doctor ordered. Plus, he's been able to sprinkle in some career-high offense. Like, what else can you ask for? In my opinion, the best trade deadline deals aren't always about finding a superstar or a 20-30 goal scorer. It's about finding exactly what your team needs and what's going to help them the most, and that's exactly what Ekholm has done.
I think my friend's a little sticky.
Finding exactly what your team needs and what's going to help them the most, and that's exactly what Ekholm has done. Darnell Nurse is not a number one defenseman. To come in and take off a ton of pressure from Nurse's shoulders, while also helping Bouchard as his D partner, and also chipping in off offensively. That's why I consider this one of the best trade deadline deals we've seen in recent history. As usual, give me your thoughts in the comments. If you want more Oilers videos, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.
Thanks.
It is time to show America and the world.
Hi, we're the Flynn family for the lowest price on tires.
I feel bad for Ottawa and Ottawa fans.
Kachuk and Claude Giroux play playoff hockey for this franchise. And when you have a season like this in the NHL, it's reasonable to expect change. We've already seen some of it. I mean, Steve Staios coming in as GM, Jacques Martin replacing DJ Smith behind the bench, and even that's going to probably switch again before the start of next season. But even with a big offseason full of
I kind of feel bad for the Senators. I believe the Ottawa Senators were an NHL team before this one, and then they relocated somewhere else. So yeah, the NHL. I'm. That's actually. I'm thinking that maybe I should make a video like top 10 NHL teams that the NHL should relocate or just get rid of them. And then we'll have like a top 10 teams that should get an NHL team, and yeah. Alrighty, go watch those videos if I make them. Anyway, I kind of feel bad for Ottawa.
Questions looming over this team.
Why
Sometimes
is
they choose to come out and
captions
just battle really hard. I mean, they went on that 5-game winning streak a few weeks ago, and yesterday they put up a really good
Oh,
performance
that's
against a Tampa team that's been rolling lately. As was the case last night, and basically any night they choose to come out and perform, it was led by their captain. Me telling Sens fans that Brady Tkachuk is the heartbeat of their team is not just captain obvious, it's like prime minister obvious. His pretty snipe against Tampa last night, which by the way was eerily similar to his brother's pretty snipe from almost the exact same spot at almost the same time, that was his 35th goal this season, matching his career high from last year. And then in the third, this was also super pretty, even prettier than the goal in my opinion. He takes one quick
Man, if you don't get more than like 50 in the NHL today, you're not going to be a good player.
But second look at where Batherson is here, and then proceeds to thread the puck through the Tampa defender's legs right onto his tape. Batherson finishes, giving Tkachuk his 70th point of the season, tying him for the team lead. Then in the shootout, as if it could be anybody else, he hops straight out of his mom's Hyundai onto the ice and goes backhand balcony on Matt Tompkins. It was beautiful. If you watch these videos, you know I often use the term, he's Mr. Everything for this team. Even though Tkachuk's a forward and he doesn't log as many minutes as a defenseman, in my book, Brady Tkachuk is undoubtedly Mr. Everything for the Ottawa Senators. And I know that he doesn't even lead the forwards.
I need one of those, I call someone like the best person on their team. I'll come up with it. Oh, Mr. Great, got
Average
it.
ice time, Tim Stützle and Claude Giroux are both higher than him, but I honestly think a big reason for that is because he has so many penalty minutes. He has literally double the penalty minutes of the closest guy, who also happens to be the guy who lit the hockey world on fire with one of the most infamous regular season moments of the past 20 years or more. I don't even have to show you what happened, like this picture is just going to live on in hockey lore. Now, in the NHL, when you mention the word untouchable, it usually gets associated with the elites, the McDavids, the Matthews, McKinnon, McCarr, etc. Good luck trading for them. They're untouchable for those teams. I'd put Brady Tkachuk in the untouchable category because of everything I just mentioned. Not only is he a bull on skates, but he's also a great goal scorer. Like I said, he's got 2 straight 35-goal seasons. Plus, he can make silky skill plays like that pass to Batherson.
I have an idea, but it might be crazy. What if Tkachuk got traded to the Oilers? Mind probably gonna be blown. Like, he probably won't be, like, performing like crazy. But he's probably gonna be, like, one of their best players. One of their. When that happens, if that happens, when Brady Tkachuk gets traded to another team, actually, it might be Florida. His brother's there. I want to see him go to Florida.
Talking about a superstar,
the Panthers
here, and he's a leader.
have the Tkachuk
saying, oh, just because he's a captain in
brothers.
Ottawa doesn't mean he's a leader. For those of you saying that, go watch his media scrums after a tough loss, or his effort level out on the ice every game, or how he sticks up for his teammates regularly. Like, just because the wins haven't been there doesn't automatically mean he's not a leader. That's why I can't believe that there were, and even still are, some trade rumors around this guy. So much so that the Sens literally had to come out ahead of the trade deadline and be like, no, that's not happening. We're building around Tkachuk. Tkachuk. There's no truth to those rumors. I was reading that and I was like, I can't believe this is even being brought up in the first place. That's like the first name you take off the board in any discussion. And look, I know NHL GM press conferences should be taken with a grain of salt always. I mean, it is a business after all. Anything can happen. I'll never forget Marc Bergevin saying, we are not trading PK Subban. And then 2 months later, PK Subban was traded. But with this one, man, that's the one guy on the Ottawa
Oh, Brady Tkachuk's getting traded.
Senators that would be completely shocked if he got traded. Like, unless the offer was ridiculous, like McDavid and his firstborn child, I just don't see it at all. I know Ryan Whitney's reported on it, and even Cam and Strick a few days ago mentioned that they heard
When McDavid's firstborn child's old enough, let's say he has 30. He's gonna be like 48. Hopefully, McDavid's not in the NHL when his son is. Is McDavid married? Random comment, but is Connor McDavid married? Oh. So, it's not saying what it is.
heard that Ottawa's, quote, kick tires on it, and Mike Rupp on NHL Network was talking about Brady Tkachuk and the New Jersey Devils. I just don't see this as a possibility at all. I mean, I feel like if he was going to pull a Matthew Tkachuk with the Calgary Flames, he would have done it already. Instead, he signed a long-term deal with Ottawa and got the C slapped onto his chest. I mean, it feels like he's as committed to that franchise as you can be. Now, when his contract is up in 4 years, that's a different discussion. That's going to be really interesting. But for right now, like, I don't even see this as a possibility. The only way it would become real to me is if Brady wanted out. If he was the one...
Brady Tkachuk's age.
Here is information from Sportskeeda.
Brady Tkachuk's age.
Here is information from Sportskeeda.
Brady Tkachuk's age. Brady Tkachuk's age. Am I saying it right or not? Tom Brady. It's ridiculous that I have to go in and I have to put in. Brady Tkachuk's married? Okay. Age. He's 24, okay. He's gonna be 28
one who went to
time,
Ottawa and
so
said,
yeah.
guys, I want to play playoff hockey, or I can't be here anymore, whatever it is, get me out of here. But again, after signing a 7-year deal and becoming the captain, I don't see him doing that. Like, from the moment Matthew signed that 3-year bridge deal with Calgary in 2019, Flames fans, myself included, immediately thought that was fishy, and it ended up being. But that's not what Brady did. I don't think he's going anywhere, at least not for a couple years. But Ottawa really has to figure this out here. Get this kid into some playoff games. No more him wearing Matthew Tkachuk Rat King shirts or getting domed in the crowd. It's time for him to be in that setting, out on the ice competing. Come on, Ottawa, make it happen for 2025. As usual, give me your thoughts in the comments about this.
For 2024, they won a bunch of games. They might just shake the hand of the NHL and ask no questions.
With Domino's rewards, you can earn
We're
free
talking
Domino's
about
after every 2 orders. It's as
the
easy as 1, 2,
Coyotes
free.
again.
Will the Coyotes be moving from Arizona to Utah? That's the question on every hockey
Who the heck are you? Like, this is not Eek.
fan's mind right now. Some background on what's going on. The Coyotes used to play in Glendale, Arizona. However, in 2021, the city and the stadium they played at decided not to renew their contract with the Coyotes. Initially, the plan was to build a new stadium in Tempe, Arizona, though that plan fell through, and for the time being, Arizona State University was allowing the team to use one of the arenas they had on campus. Currently, the plan is for the Coyotes to begin construction on a new arena in Phoenix, Arizona. However, given all of the issues the Coyotes have had finding a permanent home over the last couple of years, the NHL are a little bit skeptical on whether or not the stadium will come to fruition and are making a contingency plan to move the team to Salt Lake City if that's the case. Currently, the NHL and the Coyotes organization have made no comment on any of these claims, but we could be hearing news about what's going on with all of the behind the scenes on this in the next couple of weeks. For the time being, the possibilities are that the NHL is going to buy the team from the current owner for $1 billion, then sell it to the owner of the Utah Jazz in order to fully relocate the team to Salt Lake City.
If they get a team named Salt Lake City Jazz, I'm gonna flip. Like, what the heck is that name? Just use the Coyotes name. Just become the Salt Lake City Coyotes. Like, it's not the worst name. It's not like if they were moving up to Quebec and calling it the Quebec Coyotes. At least Utah probably has Coyotes.
Though this is all still completely up in the air at this point. But what do you think about all this? Let us know down below, especially if you're a Coyotes fan. I really want to hear what you think about this.
Okay. In the next couple of years, if I see a Salt Lake City Jazz, I'm gonna flip.